Yo, what up, y'all? It's Kingston. I'm here with another on-board defense tutorial. It's been a while, a long while, pretty much. Mainly because 2K's been having a lot of issues, but now that it's starting to run a little bit better, I'm here to drop a little knowledge for players that's having issues playing defense online. Few things you got to look for. Once the game starts, you got to look at the person's profile, see how they usually play. If they shoot a lot of threes, things like that, then that's how you tailor your defense to play against them based off of what they usually do. I mean, if you're a player like me, I always switch my teams up, so I play different with different teams. With the Wizards, I like to attack. With the Rockets, I like to attack. But with teams like the Warriors, I like to kick and shoot. So, I mean, I'm the type of player I'm hard to guess or figure out, which is why I always play with different teams. A lot of players tend to always play with the same teams, which is when they become predictable and it's easier to play defense on them. Dude went with the Rockets, I went with the Wizards, which pretty much means that Paul Pierce, my best perimeter defender, is going to be on James Harden the whole game. Good thing about the Wizards is they have a good defense overall, but they have a few good lockdown perimeter defenders. Excuse me. One of them, of course, being John Wall or Paul Pierce, but because Paul Pierce is he's a bigger defender, I put him on James Harden. I go half-court trap, which pretty much forces James Harden to either take a contested shot. Well, he's going to get picked up three-quarter court, and then it's going to force him to either cross the line and take a shot or get the ball out of his hands. Most people that play with the Rockets are uncomfortable playing with other players on the team. It's usually just James Harden, open shots by Jason Terry, so on and so forth. But when you're contesting James Harden, you're forcing them out of their comfort zone, which means that they're going to be forced to do things they're not ready for. So usually they'll do pick and roll with Dwight Howard, throw the alley-oop, Terrence Jones, pick and pop, etc. By you doubling James Harden, you're forcing them to make plays with other players. Sometimes, the people you're playing against, they can't do this, It's not that often, though, where you force them out of their comfort zone and they can adjust right away. In this game, it's going to take this dude pretty much all games to figure out what I'm doing, and I believe he starts to come back in the fourth quarter. But, at that point, it's too late. I got a 25-point lead. He can't really do much to it. Like I said, I love defense, man. Offense wins games, defense wins championships. My record online is 250 and 102, but that's mostly because, a lot of network issues with 2K. So I went from playing defense to just trying to outscore the opponent. And then, that's always iffy because you never know if you're going to be hitting shots. If they could have perfect releases with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, and you got, the Grizzlies, and you can't really shoot, and you're trying to play defense. So, things always play against you. Yeah, so just watch the videos. You're going to see I play man-to-man defense all the time. And what this does is lower their shooting percentage when they're trying to take the pull-up jump shots or contested shots. With on-board defense, it's harder for them to hit that contested shot. Whereas if the computer was on them, it's easier. People probably notice it. Probably was like, oh, he had a hand up. How did he make it? Because you're not playing the defense. The computer is. So the shooting percentage drops when you're playing on-board defense. Those are the main things I'm going to say. I drop videos all the time. I record them for my own benefit, but I do like to share knowledge with others that may have issues or problems. This bitch is crazy. But yeah, watch the video. You're probably gonna be able to pick up on a few things that I do. If you have any questions, please ask me directly. It's probably easier to help you that way, one-on-one, instead of just watching a full video and just trying to do things your own. I don't really do the coach settings unless a player is really torching me, typically, or it's like specific teams. So with the Rockets, I know he's going to be James Harden, so I'll trap him or double team him on a catch because I know more than likely he's going to bring the ball up and he's going to have majority of the touches. Different strategies like that is what I use to run my defense efficiently. Run my defense efficiently and then force him to do what I want him to do. I want him to play with other players. I want him to take tough shots. That's what I'm going to do. So, again, any questions, please send me a message. Ask me in the forums, whatever the case may be, and I'll answer them the best I know possible.
They are coming off that win
It's a
against
two-part
Atlanta.
clip, so the second part you'll be able to see also. I had this dude shut down for the whole game. Eventually, in the third quarter, he started to shoot with other people, started to come back, but we stopped that run and then just eventually just went on another run and finished the game off. Again, this is King Sin at KIINGSIN on YouTube, or King Sin Media on Instagram and Twitter. Hit me up, send me a message. All right, later.
Long-range stroke from the three-point line, looking really solid.
And they're scoring pretty well as we conclude the first quarter. It's the Wizards. And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And what's your take, guys, on the hustle stats for Washington?
Fellas, the rebounding has been very strong. Excellent so far. Putbacks are very valuable, and they're getting some.
And the other thing they're doing is forcing a lot of turnovers, and that's helping them to get easy points at the other end.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, as the second quarter gets going. And so in the game for the Rockets, Terrence Jones is down low with Howard. Brewer is out there with Terry, and it's Smith in at the three, the small forward.
John Wall is becoming very efficient running the pick and roll. He's got a nice pull-up from the right elbow if the defender decides to sag off or go under the screen, and if they play up on him, he can blow right by him. So because of his finishing ability, that's a tough cover.
Howard, the pass to Terry. Smith with a wide open look. Howard kicks to Brewer. He dishes it to Terry. Goes up again.
And they force the miss with that good defensive rotation. They're playing well together as a unit.
Benet setting the pick for Wall. Blocked. Second shot opportunity. The shot by Butler. Nobody around. Butler.
Yo, I'm back. All right, listen. I just jumped ahead. I'm about to jump ahead just so you guys could see it. Scores 12-23. It's been this way for a while. I had to, shorten it just so that way I can pretty much upload the clip to YouTube through PS4. I'm about to get an Elgato again. But 12-23, now we jump ahead a few minutes. It's 12-31. He has not scored since. Like I said, on-board defense, even if I go to a zone, I'm the one contesting the shots, and I'm playing the defense myself. And now we jump ahead after halftime. So it was just 12-31. Now it's 16-40. Like I said, James Harden has the ball. I man-to-man defense the whole time. I call a double team to trap him, force the ball out of his hand. He eventually starts to hit shots. You can't stop somebody for a whole game. You just have to slow them down and make them play the way you want them to play or the way you're going to allow them to play. There's two ways to play defense. There's the Doc Rivers way, which is I'm going to allow one player, like when Doc Rivers was coaching Boston Celtics, I'm going to allow LeBron James to put up 100 points, but nobody else on his team is going to get going. And that's a good strategy because eventually players get winded, they get tired, they can't score 100 points by themselves, One person that did it was Wilt Chamberlain. Kobe got close with 81 or 82, but there's not a lot of players that's going to beat you scoring up like all the points by themselves. So you have that strategy, which is pretty much having that one player do everything, but not allowing anybody else to do anything at all. No team is going to lose to one player. That's how Doc Rivers dominated with the Celtics against players or teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers before the Cavs got to the championship by this strategy. And then also you have the Greg Popovich strategy, which is pretty much, I'm going to force the role players to beat me, and I'm not going to allow the star players to beat me, which is double team, triple team the star players and force players like Jason Terry or players like that to step in and fill the void, which, like I said, it's a strategy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But those are the two strategies to defense in this game. The strategy I chose in this game was the Greg Popovich, where I'm stopping James Harden, but I'm forcing his role players to step up and pick up the slack. It's not happening, which is why I'm blowing him out pretty much
he's healthy,
because he's not, I guess, comfortable scoring with the other players. Got the defense on him, and it's not working the way he wants to. Like I said, it leads me to get a big lead, and by the time he probably figures it out or comes up with a strategy, the game is over. You know, I already got him by 25 points. He's down. He can't restore. He can't get into a rhythm. As you can see, he could have took that shot with Trevor Ariza. I got back into the play, picked him up. Paul Pierce picking him up. Man-to-man defense. You know, you're not always going to be there. You just got to make it as hard as possible. 24-second shot clock violation. This is the kind of plays you want to force them to make. Late shots, you know, slow down their defense, force them to play the way they don't want to play. I don't remember this guy's record, unfortunately, but I mean, even if, you know, you're playing with a team, it's because you're comfortable with them in some way, shape, or form. That was a dumbass shot. I don't even know why that shit came. In some way, shape, or form, you're comfortable playing with this team. What you need to do is stop that comfort, force them to play the way you want them to. James Harden, open shot. You know, I wasn't on him. He did the back and forth nonsense, whatever. James Harden, only 5 points in this whole game. Only 2 shots. We only allowed him to take 2 shots, and we're in the third quarter. You know, that's not normal. You know, it's not normal at all. But force them to do what you want them to do. The game will work in your favor. I believe I ended up ending it at the end of the third quarter, primarily because I believe he quit in the fourth. So, like I said, defense wins championships. Force them to do what you want, and you control the tempo of the game and how you want them to play. Everything contested, hands up, man-to-man defense. Even if you go zone, you need to play the zone physically in order for it to be effective. Again, this is King Sin, KIINGSIN on YouTube, or Kingston Media on Instagram and Twitter. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm always willing to answer, give feedback also. All right, later.
About 15 feet. You could do a lot worse at the center position. Key for him is just staying healthy.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Joey Dorsey's checked in for Howard, for Terrence Jones. And it's Pablo Prigioni in for Jason Terry. Harden the pass. This is a Capela. Oh, took the contact and tried to throw it down over the top, but instead he'll shoot free throws. That's on Marcin Gortat. For Houston, they have gone 5 of 8 from the charity stripe here tonight. Wizards making a switch here.
You know, the league seems pretty serious about creating more parity between the teams. A big sign of that was the last CBA, where the NBA more than tripled the amount of revenue sharing between the big market and the small market teams. The little guys, I think, are in a much better position now than they were a few years ago.
Houston's gone into the three-point range 4 times since halftime and buried 2 of them.
Tell you what, he's not an easy guy to stop when he's got his sight on the rim.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
And I love how he goes with that one-hand tomahawk slam. Beautiful.
He has a highlight reel unto himself, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
that could very well be a contender for Dunk of the Year, and perhaps might make its way all over the internet.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Clark. That's a crowd pleaser if I've ever seen one.
Rockets have been shooting 50% at the line, 5 of 10. Time called here. The Wizards decide to talk it over.
They've already picked up a number of fouls here, and they're in the penalty. Not a good sign. They need to focus on moving their feet, keeping their hands up, and defending without fouling.
Washington making some changes. Webster comes in for Paul Pierce. And Sessions subbed in for John Wall. The Rockets also changing it up. Smith comes in for Trevor Ariza. And it's Brewer in for James Harden. And an intentional foul right there.
I'm not sure what he was thinking about there. That's a strange foul.
Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to take a break for a minute.
It's Porter outside. Rockets with the rebound. Last game matched up with the Clippers. A tough loss there.
They had major problems at the charity stripe in that game. It was interesting. They just could not make free throws.
Yeah, and that's frustrating to watch, especially on the road where your opportunities at the line tend to be a little more sparse than when you're at home.